Many years ago, Tibetan monks sat in dimly lit monasteries and read old scriptures that spoke of a magical kingdom called Shambhala. According to tradition, it is a kingdom where only the pure of heart can live. Now, thousands of years later, we hear about Shambhala in many places, such as video games like in Uncharted 2, Among Thieves, and movies like Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. There have even been numerous accounts of a certain Adolf Hitler and his political party's near-obsessive search for Shambhala, or what they called Agartha. With the way technology has advanced, if it were a place somewhere on Earth, it would have been found by now. So then, what is Shambhala? A place off Earth, or simply a wise tale? For a good answer, we must rewind back to the very start.
Part 1. The first mention of the word Shambhala comes from Hinduism, and specifically in chapter 24, book 4 of the Vishnu Purana, mentioning Shambhala to be the birthplace of Kalki, Vishnu's final avatar, which means incarnation, the divine being who is the beginning and the end, who comprehends all things, shall incarnate upon earth in dark times. He will be born in a family in Shambhala village as Kalki, a world teacher for all peoples of the world without separation of race or religion. And through his teachings he will destroy all the thieves and whose minds are devoted to iniquity. He will then re-establish righteousness upon earth, and the minds of those who live at the end of the Kali age shall be as clear as crystal. The men who are thus changed by virtue of that time shall bring forth an era of purity.
The Bon people of Tibet also speak about a place called Olmo-lung-ring that is very similar in concept to Shambhala, and in the Western culture, Shambhala is often referred to as Shangri-la. However, the first time that it is spoken about in depth is in the Kalaçakra Tantra of Tibetan Buddhism, which, according to notable historians, was written in the year 1027 AD. It is taught that the people of Shambhala has inner and outer meanings. The outer meaning depicts it as a real place, where only people with the right karma or merits can go. The subtle meanings hint, rather than being a place somewhere on earth, the kingdom could refer to a path. Sometime during the 11th century, the Dalai Lama stated that Shambhala is not a place, but rather, like the Kalaçakra Tantra itself, a path to purify the mind. In Edwin Birnbaum's 1980 book, The Way to Shambhala, an old Tibetan story about a yogi is told, who set out with a lot of excitement and drive to reach the mountainous area in the Himalayas. His trip was difficult, and the conditions were unforgiving. After crossing many mountains, he came across a man hiding in a cave. The man asked, "Where are you going in such dangerous weather by yourself, with only your clothes to keep you alive?" "To find Shambhala. It can't be far away now. I've been brave and strong-willed to get this far." "Ah, well, then come inside. You don't have to go far. You hold the kingdom of Shambhala in your heart." The hermit told the yogi that Shambhala is in the human heart and that it is a kingdom that we live out of through the compassionate decisions and actions that we make and show towards each other and the world around us. The yogi brought these texts back, which are now known as the famous Kalaçakra Tantra. In ancient Tibet, around 1500 AD, people hired artists to paint thangkas, which are Tibetan Buddhist paintings done on cotton or silk that generally depict a Buddhist deity or scene. The rules said that the artists could not use their imaginations at all to paint these thangkas. The paintings had to be purely based on what the Kalaçakra scriptures describe about the kingdom of Shambhala and its 8 parts. They were closely watched while they worked. To help you understand the Thangka Experiment, let me introduce to you the idea of chakras.
And tell me everything you know about chakras.
What are chakras?
Oh, I see. I guess we'll start with the basics. The water flows through this creek much like the energy flows through your body. As you see, There are several pools where the water swirls around before flowing on. These pools are like our chakras.
So, chakras are pools of spiraling energy in our bodies?
Exactly. If nothing else were around, this creek would flow pure and clear. However, life is messy and things tend to fall in the creek. And then what happens?
The creek can't flow?
Yes, but if we open the paths between the pools,
The energy flows.
Voila! This is what chakras are all about. To stay at its best, the human body needs to keep active, eat right, and get regular sleep. Similarly, the human spirit, which manifests as energy which flows through these energy centers, just as blood flows through organs, needs constant emotional and psychological work to stay at its best. So, now that you have a basic idea of what chakras are and how they work, let's go back in time to 1912 and Arthur Avalon's book, The Serpent Power. In his book, he talks about the chakras in the body and how they work. There are a few drawings of these energy wheels in Arthur Avalon's book, as was described in the ancient Sat Chakra Nirupana. These pictures show the heart wheel or chakra, which is also called the Anahata in Sanskrit, as a lotus flower with 12 petals. Most Buddhists and Hindus, as well as anyone who has read or researched even a little, know the symbolism of 12-petaled lotus. The curious thing is that these pictures from Arthur Avalon's book all show the Anahata with a smaller chakra just below. This smaller chakra was shown as an 8-petaled lotus. Master Joel Kuhl stated the implication is clear. The 8 divisions of Shambhala is meant to symbolize the 8-petaled lotus, called the Hrit. Legend says that the word heart comes from the ancient knowledge of the Hrit. Hrit, heart. People also call it the Sacred Heart Chakra, the home of the Supreme Self in the human body.
And that's where duality stops making sense. That's where the infinite and the limited become one, and the present and eternity become one. It is where both the mind of the person and the mind of the universe are heard. The point where the heart of the human and the heart of the cosmos are one. The Sacred Heart is one and the same in the limited human and the limitless God.
So, where or what is the kingdom of Shambhala? To make it simple, you don't have to walk at all to live in the kingdom of Shambhala. You only need to start living in a way that is kind to life, all forms of life, not just human. But being kind to other humans can be a good place to start for many. You need only to learn how to truly learn 2 things: kindness and compassion. Compassion and acceptance are just 2 words, but it takes most souls many lifetimes to fully grasp, said the Buddha. To really be exemplified in every sense of the word, it needs to extend from every person on earth who has a different point of view from you to every animal that loves and cares for its own kind. To not hurt others and to stay brave in the face of evil and not remain quiet, to not polluting and ruining the planet you and your children will live on. To always speak words of love, no matter how much someone hurt you, because you know that he or she did not know any better. To know that all life, even your cat, is at some stage in its spiritual journey. Thank you for joining me on this extraordinary journey to Shambhala. May the spirit of adventure and discovery guide you on your own quest for truth and enlightenment. Until we meet again, remember, the kingdom of Shambhala awaits for those brave enough to seek it.